Hello, I am Krishna Pandit, and today we are going to discuss The Dicing and the sequel to The Dicing by Vyas. These two titles refer to significant episodes within the Mahabharata, the ancient Indian epic attributed to Vyasa or Vyasadeva Rishi. These sections detail the events leading up to and immediately following a fateful dice game that serves as a major turning point in the epic, ultimately leading to the Kurukshetra war. The dicing. The dicing primarily focuses on the first game of dice between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. It highlights the growing jealousy and resentment of Duryodhan, the eldest Kaurava, towards his cousins, the Pandavas, and particularly after witnessing the immense prosperity and magnificence of hall of Yudhishthir, the eldest Pandav, in Indraprastha. Duryodhan feels deeply humiliated by some accidental mishaps in the illusionary hall, where he is laughed at by Bhim and Draupadi. Driven by this humiliation and his desire to seize the Pandavas' wealth and kingdom, Duryodhan, with the cunning advice of his maternal uncle Shakuni, devises a plan. Shakuni, a master of dice, suggests inviting Yudhishthir, who has a weakness for gambling but lacks skill, to a game of dice. Despite warnings from elders like Vidur, King Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan's father, reluctantly permits the game. During the game, Shakuni employs deceitful tactics, and Yudhishthir, bound by his code of honor and unable to refuse a challenge, loses everything he possesses: his wealth, his kingdom, his brothers, one by one, himself, and finally Draupadi, their common wife. This results in the infamous disrobing of Draupadi in the assembly hall by Du- uh, Dushasana, an act that deeply shames and enrages the Pandavas and Draupadi, laying the foundation for future vengeance. Themes are dharma versus adharma, righteousness versus unrighteousness, consequences of addiction and weakness, envy and greed, humiliation and vengeance, the role of free will versus destiny. Now let's come to the sequel to the dicing. The sequel to the dicing describes the immediate aftermath of the first dice game. Despite the immense humiliation and loss, Dhritarashtra, influenced by the elders and the ominous signs, initially attempts to rectify the situation by offering to return all that Yudhishthir lost. However, Duryodhan, still burning with hatred and ambition, cannot accept this. He convinces Dhritarashtra to call the Pandavas back for another game of dice, setting new, even harder conditions. This second game dictates that the losing party would have to endure 12 years of exile in the forest, followed by 1 year of living incognito in disguise. If they were discovered during the incognito year, the 13-year period would have to be repeated. Yudhishthir, despite knowing the disastrous consequences and the inevitability of further suffering, again feels compelled by his dharma, duty and righteousness, to accept the challenge from his blind uncle, King Dhritarashtra. The Pandavas lose this second game as well, engineered by Shakuni's continued deceit. Consequently, the Pandavas, along with Draupadi, are forced to leave their kingdom and embark on their 13-year exile. This event solidifies the animosity between the two factions and directly sets the stage for the epic Kurukshetra war, as the Pandavas vow to reclaim their rights and avenge the dishonor they suffered. The themes are the inevitability of conflict, the burden of dharma, perseverance and resilience, the seeds of war, and the nature of justice. Together, the dicing and the sequel to the dicing form a crucial narrative arc in the Mahabharata. illustrating how a single act of disease and unchecked ambition can spiral into a devastating conflict shaped by a profound moral dilemmas, personal weaknesses, and unending vows of honor and revenge. Thank you for listening. This is Krishna Pandit signing off.